Welcome back for the part 2. We are still with the man himself, Mr. Sairo, the Galactical. You can call him mathematics. Yeah, we enjoyed part of his primary and O-level. Let us hear how his HSC was, and then university. He will tell us more. I think most of you are now waiting for part 2 to hear how he taught Bob Wine, Baby Cole, DJ Shir, Sulaiman, and the rest of them. Mr. Nanga, police spokesperson, and Felix Kawes, the late. So let us continue and hear a story. So welcome for part 2, Mr. Sairo.
Thank you.
So how was HSC? Let's continue the story.
HSC was traumatic at the beginning. I passed with the first grade and I was supposed to join Mwili. But unfortunately my dad and he could not afford to take me to Mwili. It was a first class school there. So, and he had no option for me. The problem with having parents who have never gone to school, they are not connected, they don't know where to go, they don't even know schools where they are.
They have an assumption if they are living without school. How?
And now, I was going to be the first child in the family. I have elder brothers and sisters who stopped in S4, others in primary, and they branched off. But I'm the only one who broke off through. And now I was going to HSC. They didn't expect I would reach that far. But when the results came back and I'd done very well, and Mwili had given me, admitted me, those days they used just to send our admission letters via the post office. I picked it from Bali, big envelope. And when I took it to my dad he was happy, but then he said, "No, I managed to take you to Mwili. Mwili is far, and you have so many. We are about 30 in the family, from essentially 3 wives. We are about 30. So he said, what do I do? Now, what I did, I had a sister married to a man in Mbale Hills. Mbale Hills. I went and visited, and I talked to them about my dilemma, because my father sincerely could not take me to Mwili. So I talked to my sister, who was herself a diploma teacher. So she encouraged me, said, "No, I know you want to go to Mwili." It was among the best schools then. Actually, the person who followed, who was the second to me in Manjas, was called Yunus Musisi. That man I've never seen him again. But we were very good friends also, because we are both Muslim. We were very good friends. But Yunus Musisi just disappeared. But we came to Namiliango. At the end of HSC, he got 3 A's.
Which combination?
He was doing, I think he came for an arts thing.
And which combination did you take in HSC?
PCM.
PCM.
And I didn't do that well.
By that time you had, I think you had 5 principals by that time. Is it 5 or 4?
No, there were 3 principals. Only. These 4 principals was recent when I was already teaching. They brought 4, then they came back to 3, then they brought them back, then they are back to 3. It's recent. So I went to Mbale Senior Secondary School. It's the brother-in-law. Is he called brother-in-law?
Yeah. The brother to the
wife. No, the husband, my sister.
The husband, your sister.
Is he a brother-in-law?
Yeah.
So he's the one. He told me, "Don't worry." The headmaster of Mbale Senior Secondary School was his Muko. We walked to the place and we reached his office. I showed him my results. They were very good. He said, "This man, Muko, you know my school." That time Mbale SS was, he has very many kids. He has always done. Because their school, many people take kids there. But the standards were very, very poor there. Thankfully, these days it has come up. It's among the best from that side. It is even better than the established schools we had. We knew that time, the Masavas, the Nagmaris, the Teso College, Aloit, and schools like that. It's now doing well, thank God. The man advised my uncle to do whatever is possible to take me to Mwiri. But still finances could not allow. I decided that I would study in Mbale Senior Secondary School. Of course I was allowed, and I went through school. But again, that was the same time when the teachers were crossing to Kenya. We never had a chemistry teacher. And yet chemistry was one of my best subjects. I'd done them very well. Physics, chemistry, and math. We never had a chemistry teacher. We had to go on a strike, a sit-down strike first. And still they didn't get us a teacher. They didn't know where to get them. They convinced an Almighty teacher to come. I think the finances were not there. So we had to walk to a place called ATM. It was an African textile mill. Somewhere in the industrial area of Mbale. We talked, the students, we went and talked to the industrial chemist. That was S6, second term.
After school failing to get your teacher,
yes,
you say you have to come up.
We went and talked to the industrial chemist, who said, okay, I will come and just help you because you are young men and you really feel you want to. So he felt pity, and he came to school in the evenings. I think he came about 4 times, but his chemistry was above our heads. Those industrial chemists, it was above our heads. He was summarizing benzene rings, this organic chemistry, organic, inorganic. In 7 days, he left us more confused. So actually, chemistry let me down. I should have gone for an engineering course.
So what happened when you did USE?
Yeah, when I did USE, thankfully we managed to score the points to bring us to Makerere. That time, Makerere had just about 4,000 students to 5,000. The times were in Makerere, mid-80s. You would think that there is no one in Makerere. Very quiet. Very few of us.
You didn't have strikes by that time?
What?
There were no strikes by that time?
I don't.
Because Makerere is now known for strikes.
There was none in our time, except one, which if time allows I will come to. But I was admitted and I came to Makerere to do a flat degree because I had failed chemistry. So I got an oil chemistry.
So how many points did you get by then?
There were 9 points.
9.
So I almost failed. If my chemistry had come out, but long ago, by the way, do you know that 4 points to 5 points you would be admitted to Makerere? You would. People were not. The exams were extremely hard. If you look at the papers of the 80s, you will not. Paper 2, we never did anything. Mathematics, it's because I had a passion. I managed to pass paper 1, but paper 2 were not taught. The man who tried to come and teach it to us was a physics teacher. He taught us a bit of mechanics we didn't understand. The things I teach now, and my kids pass, are self-taught. I think the reason why I went into the teaching profession, I was actually admitted after I'm now cutting the story. Yeah. At the end of my stay in Makerere, those days the public service people used to come from the different ministries to interview kids who would join. The manpower was low. People who had degrees. People had diplomas and what were the senior people in those ministries. So they would come to interview us. I was the last person to be interviewed. I didn't know about the interview itself until somebody who had come from there came and said, have you failed to attend any interview at all? Many departments, surveys, work, all those ministries, Ministry of Work, Health. So I went into the one for surveys. I was the last I found when those guys actually were closing. I told them, I'm called Sairo. I want to have come to the interviews. They laughed. Then they said, okay, which part of the country do you come from? I said, I come from the east. Are you sure? Then come in. And surprisingly, they asked me a few questions and they said, now you go. After 1 month, results came back. We went back to Makerere to see. I was the third. They wanted only 3 people. The first one was called Mugisha, I've never forgotten. The second one was called Semakula, and then Sairo. Mugisha from the
And Sairo who came
from the
next.
west and the south. And Semakula, I think, from the central. And me from the east. I think they wanted the regional balance. So when I came and told them I'm from the east, they had, I think, not
got someone from that side.
there. So I was a surveyor for 4 months. I was recruited by government as a surveyor, trainee. Do you want to know our starting salary was 1,000 shillings?
That is
That is 1988.
That would be a month.
A month, 1,000 shillings. But now I didn't have any relative in this place at all. I was the first relative of my relatives to come here. So my time at Makerere was expiring. I was a mess minister. My time was expiring. They left me to stay there a bit longer because I was mess minister, and at the same time I was the defense secretary of Makerere University, LC2. So you could not just.
So you also had some politics.
Yes. You could not take me out of the hall. I stayed there until I felt it was long enough. But when I left that place, I rented some place in. You see where Kawempe police is? Just opposite, there is a petrol station before Kirudu. There were houses there. There is even an old house they have left to rot. It was one of the houses where I rented. Yes, I rented there, and I would move. I would pay 150 shillings in a taxi to Kampala, go to the is it Amber House, which has surveys outlet, where there is a Ministry of Education, opposite Parliament. That is, and then we would be there from 8 up to 10. The commissioner is the one who used to take us up to Entebbe, because the headquarters are in Entebbe, near Equatorial, the Botanical Gardens. And they would drive us at 10, we would reach the other place around 11. We would sit in an old office for about 2 hours, nothing going on. And for 2 months, that was happening. We were not being trained, nothing happened. And now the little man I had was running out. I was going to be thrown out of the house because of rent. So I decided to go back to Makerere. There are friends of mine still flocking in Makerere, who were teachers. One of them, Rwandese, called Rutaganera, is the one who took me, who told me that, let's go to Kitat.
That's how the teaching starts.
Yes, when we reached the headmistress, and he said, this man is called Sairo. He's the one who has been helping us with the mathematics at campus. He's not yet a qualified teacher, but he can teach. And that time there were no science teachers really. So the headmistress told me, if you can teach as well as this man here, because I've tested him, then the job is yours. And I went from there to class.
Mathematics?
Yes. Started teaching. That was toward 89.
So I think that is where you found Mr. Robert Chagulanyi and
those ones came
Robert
much later. They came much later, when I was about to leave, mid-90s. The Bebe Cools, the Bobby Wines, Sulaiman, many of these singers. Many
you told them at that same school?
Yes.
Kitante
School, yes, they were our students. Alex Felix Kawesi, the late. And I didn't teach Enanga, but he was one of our students in the school. He did arts.
Oh.
Yes.
So how did you find some of these people that you taught that are now big in the country? how would you feel having
Feel
those?
very proud, very proud.
Do you have some time to meet and talk to them, something like that?
Yeah, but many of them are very busy people, but the other reason is that I'm extremely busy myself. I help very many schools. I've taught in very many schools trying to spread the mathematics gospel.
I know a viewer there is wants to ask a question, but you cannot ask anything. And they would want to know of these ones, who was your favorite student, or maybe what are any moment that you can remember about them, or something like that. DJ Shield, Sulaiman, Bobo Wine, Bebe Cole.
I was Bebe Cole's class teacher.
Bebe Cole. That was in which class?
S4.
S4.
He was in a class called 4-1, the very first class with where they used to concentrate the bright kids. So he was in that class. Very humble, very tiny, very disciplined. Bebe Cool was a good boy. I don't know about his life outside school, but all our students were good. Kitante cultivated the culture of discipline among students and teachers. And some of the Chofa Togabio, the state minister for Kampala, was also my student.
How about our own DJ Shield? How was he?
I didn't interact with DJ Shiru so much, but we would pass each other. I would enter class and he's there. You know, as teachers, when you go into class, you take people for granted. You know, these small kids, some are rough, some are very stubborn, but you never know what they will become. We just get shocked when we hear this so and so is in this place, this so and so is in the other place. We get shocked.
Well, it has been so nice hearing from Mr. Sairo, who has taught for 30 years, and he has taught these big people in the country. Mr. Sairo, would you please give an advice to a student who is down there? I know you have groomed over thousands and thousands of students in the country now, and you have inspired a lot. Yes. So there is a student down there who would want to be like you, who would want to move in the same path like the way you are. Please give them an advice to walk great the way you are.
I've survived both educationally and economically by sticking to what I want to do, what my heart wants to do. And I've tried to chase that with all my heart. I would advise the students in schools to have dreams. I had a dream to become an engineer. It was failed because of lack of teachers along the way. But perhaps I would have been an engineer. And when I failed to become an engineer, I decided that let me go and teach. Teach people who would become engineers for me. People would become doctors for me, and I have so many doctors, so many engineers, so many architects, so many teachers, so many everything. Very many people who we have helped to do. I've been fairly successful as a teacher because I have a very beautiful wife with very beautiful kids. I have a home in Seguku. Some people think teachers should not have homes. I have a home in Seguku. Seguku is not a bad neighborhood. Yeah. I have a home in my village. When I go to the village, I stay in my house. So I will count myself as successful, although I would not want to think that I'm where I should have been. The economic situation has affected all of us. COVID has let us down, but we continue pushing. I have children. Some have completed university. 2 of them, one did statistics, another one did history and French. So I'm a happy man generally. I'm a happy man generally. I would advise our kids to stick to what they want to be. And you don't need teachers to come around you all the time. I'm self-made. I read mathematics of my own. And the mathematics, they see me teaching them in class, they think we passed through good schools. Many kids have always asked me, which schools were you? Must be Buddha, must be Namiliango, must be this. But I was in third world schools. But I chased a dream. I loved mathematics, and I wanted to use mathematics to be a good engineer, spacecraft engineer. But when that failed, I decided I should go back and teach the mathematics that I taught myself. And many people keep asking me, how do you know all the things? It's because I had a passion in mathematics. They should have passion. Many kids now have so many distractions. They're interested in walking around on with mobile phones. Now this COVID has completely killed our kids. On Zoom, they are on WhatsApp, they are on YouTube, everywhere. But this time is when somebody should have, a good student should reflect on what they want to be. This time, when they are stagnating in the same classes, is when they should have really brought out their potential. Why am I failing mathematics? Why am I failing physics? Why am I failing economics? Things like that. When I was when we left, I left the other school because of the strike. I was at home. At a certain point on my veranda, I took some students of mine. Many students of mine, by the way, have formed a WhatsApp group, and they surprised me on Teachers' Day recently. They brought me a lot of stuff, and it's the best.
Did any of them bring the oranges?
No, they didn't. Many of them don't know the orange story. Yes, they didn't, but they really excited me. Brought me a lot of stuff. I had nowhere to keep. Neighbors are also enjoying. So they made me so proud. So we have a group of people who realize that I've done some work. We work for government, but government, especially education system, have no, and I think all the rest of the ministries have no way of appreciating or noticing the potential of the people working in their ministries. Some of us, it's only our students know our capabilities. They have no instrument or capability of isolating talent. That this teacher is so good at sports, so good at teaching, so good at this, that is lacking. So the ministry officials only, they know the head teachers, they don't know the Sairo, the man called Sairo in the school. Many of them, if I went to the ministry, they would not even, they would know who is Sairo. What? You get the point?
Yeah, yeah.
So we live the education system like we have never been there. No recognition. There is no system of recognizing excellency or longevity or service. It's not there. So you go together in down the drain like everybody else. It's only the head teachers.
One.
So that is so sad.
It has been very nice having Mr. Sairo's story right from nursery. I know somewhere, somehow, you must have enjoyed some part that you would want to have more. We can have him again anytime. What you have to do, just go into the comment session. I mean, ask for more of him. Ask any part you want to hear about him. We can have him again anytime. So what you have to do, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Passion TV, and then follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Mr. Sairo, as we wind up, can you please send some greetings to maybe your best student somewhere, or maybe anyone would
I want to use this chance.
Yes, please.
Now that you have given it to me, to thank my old students, especially those who have inspired to become teachers. Some of them are some of the best teachers now in the country. Teachers like Senfuka Omugeye, Teacher Lawrence Senyondo, Teacher Emma Kisembo, Teacher Bate Junior. I have so many people have inspired to become teachers, and they are some of the best teacher, science and mathematics teachers in the country. And the rest of my students.
You can mention one or two or three to act as an example. Maybe someone somewhere there can be inspired.
The students?
Yeah, the students to be the teachers. You might mention the name of a teacher who is a student at their school, and in one way or the other, the students will feel proud as well. Yeah,
my students, those are the ones I told you came and recognized me. They are the ones I'm talking about. There is teacher Semakula, who is now a teacher in Abisunsa. There is teacher Lawrence Senyondo, is a teacher in Miliango. There is teacher Chisembo, who is a teacher and there are so many teachers who are even examiners. Many I've even forgotten about. I send them my greetings and wish them the best of the teaching profession. let them spread my gospel.
Well, that is so nice. It has been nice having Mr. Sairo on Passion TV. My school story is the show. I'm Isaiah, and I think we shall have any other teacher from any school. Just comment down below. Ask for any teacher you want from your school who has inspired you or who has inspired students. We shall have them here with us on My School Story, and we shall get their story right from nursery up to how they became what they are. Maybe a student somewhere there can be inspired to aspire for what they are. Thank you very much, Sairo.
Yeah, welcome.
Hope to see you again when the viewers ask for more of you. I think the story has been so interesting.
Yes, and I've cut it short. That is 70% of it.
Oh, we are looking forward to have the 25% remaining.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sairo.
Welcome.
See you again. Passion TV, favorite.